The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Southwest.
He leads off here against Anario Del Rosario. And hits the first pitch deep. Going upper deck. Rangers win it. In this, the 11th year of the Lone Star Series, the Rangers hosting the Astros, playing again this year for the Silver Boot, and the Rangers tonight going for a 3-game sweep after last night's thrilling walk-off finish by Mitch Moreland. We welcome you, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve, and the Rangers haven't won very many games by the walk-off capacity this year, but they are playing better than any other American team at home.
Yeah, and Dave, that's the recipe for success. Win big at home, play 500 on the road. The Rangers were at 500 on the road before their last trip. They're 4 games under on the road, but boy, at home, they're playing terrific baseball. They're 22-13. That is the best record in the American League. How have they done it? They've hit pretty well at home. Average runs, they score over 5 runs per game, and they slug the ball, and we saw that last night with 4 home runs.
And, of course, as usual, Michael Young having a pretty good series against the Astros, a good season at home. And after DHing most of this season, who's at third base tonight? It's Michael Young. Adrian Beltre moves to DH. And we'll show you the rest of the lineups and the first pitch, Game 3 of the Rangers and the Astros. Coming up next. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, by the Progressive Insurance Group, by Jack in the Box, by Citibank, by Budweiser, and by Southwest Airlines. Another warm, partly cloudy night at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as we get set for Game 3, Rangers-Astros, and we check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, the Rangers with just their second walk-off win of the season last night. They have now won their last 2 and 4 of their last 5. And Nelson Cruz says it's not just the fact that they're winning ball games, but the way in which this team is winning.
We need to score a run, or we need to win a base. We've been doing it, so it's fun to see it, and I think that's the way we're supposed to play, the way we're supposed to enjoy the game and be performing and doing the field, you know.
Nelson Cruz with tonight's Geico quote of the game, and of course the Rangers looking to make a little hay while the sun shines here at home. 16 of 19 as they approach the All-Star break. We'll be here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. So far, 2 for 2, guys.
2 for 2, and all of these games against teams that are below 500. Time last year when the Rangers took off, and we're never again headed to the American League West. Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Astros tonight. They flip-flopped their top 2. Michael Bourne back to leading off. Jason Bourgeois second. Second to Jeff Keppinger. Those 3 were the entire offense for Houston last night. Everyone else contributed nothing. Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, Michaels at left. The veteran Barmas, the former Rocky at short, and again Carlos Corporan is the starter at catcher. And the Astros facing Colby Lewis, going for his 7th win against 7 losses.
So check out the scouting report on Colby. He's had 14 starts. Had a nice start in Atlanta, his last start. Holding right-hand hitters to a 187 average, 2.61 ERA in his last 6 interleague starts. And again, he's coming off a nice start in Atlanta, 10 strikeouts in 6 2/3. That followed up 2 very un-Colby-like starts. He was 0-2 in those 2 starts, gave up 15 runs in 4 2/3 innings, and that was after his first start in June, which was 8 innings of shutout baseball against Tampa Bay. So it's nice to see Colby get untracked and have that strong start in Atlanta.
First pitch to Michael Bourne is high, and the last the Astros saw of Colby Lewis was about as well as any Ranger pitcher threw last year, including Cliff Lee. That was on June 19th down at Bennett Bay Park, a complete game 2-hitter, and it took him only 101 pitches to get all 27 outs. Now behind 3-0 to Michael Bourne. Colby in that game did not walk a batter, struck out 9. And Bourne takes strike 1. And in the history of the Ranger franchise, only Fergie Jenkins, 1974, his year of 25 wins, 29 complete games, had anything like that strike that makes it 3-2. Anything like that outing for Colby. Three-two pitch rolled out to Kinsler at second base, and after falling behind 3-0, Lewis gets the speedy Astros leadoff hitter. Defensively, the Rangers with Hamilton, Chavez, and Cruz in the outfield. First time this year for Michael Young to play third. Andres Blanco giving Elvis Andrus a day off, and Yorvit Torrealba did not start either of the first 2 games of this series. Left Sunday's game early in Atlanta, suffering from fatigue and dehydration. Jason Bourgeois looks at strike 1.
Yeah, Jason Bourgeois is having a nice little season. He hasn't had 100 at bats yet, but he's got close to it, and he's hitting almost 360 with 17 stolen bases. Pretty impressive.
Bourgeois last night tied his career high, 3 hits. He's done it 4 times now, all those games this year. That looked pretty close to strike 3.
That's one of those borderline pitches that usually is within the Fox tracks, but is frequently called a ball.
And now 2-2. Bourgeois, Bourne, and Keppinger all 3 for 5 last night. Bourne and Keppinger drove in all 4 runs, 2 apiece. And they scored 3 of the 4 Astro runs. And there's a base hit out to right field. Bourgeois aboard with 1 out for Jeff Keppinger. Astros tonight trying to end a 3-game losing streak. This the finale of a 6-game road trip, which started with 3 at Dodger Stadium. And Brad Mills has his team with the worst record in baseball, 27-48. 6th and last in the National League Central by some 14 games. And there are a number of reasons. This poor start by the Astros, you can't really pin on any one aspect of play. Rangers trying to sweep them here, then next week, Tuesday through Thursday, down at Minute Maid Park, we'll try to do the same thing. There's strike 1 to Keppinger.
I think the biggest thing, and not to sound harsh, but when you look back over the last 15, 20 years at Astros baseball, their talent level is down. And it's hard to be at the top of the standings if you can't compete against the other teams talent-wise. And I think that's as realistic as you can say it about the Astros right now. Their talent level is just not where the top teams in the National League find their talent level right now.
And that's been kind of a steady erosion over the last decade, really.
We talked about it last night with some of the fine players that have come through there over the years. They just don't have that same group anymore. Biggio, Bagwell, they were the anchors for that team for a long time.
And they always had excellent pitching staffs. And Jerry Hunsicker, when he was their general manager, talked about why that is, and it's because of their philosophy in the draft, and the Rangers have shown the same philosophy under John Daniels, and the pitching quality has increased by leaps and bounds. But the Astros got away from that emphasis, and it really shows in the struggles they have had the last few years getting enough pitchers. Just outside to Keppinger, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, the other guy we should mention right there with the 2 other Astros is Lance Berkman, all-star player. Take those 3 guys in their prime off of any team, and it's going to be hard to measure up talent-wise.
That is ball 3 and a full count to Keppinger. Yeah, Berkman having an awful year last year. They ended up dealing him to the Yankees. And he's moved on to St. Louis this year, proving that he does have a lot of gas left in his tank. Astro fans just didn't see it last year. There goes Bourgeois. And a spinning stop by Michael Young. Very Adrian Beltre-like right there to get out number 2.
Yeah, Michael was out here probably around 3 o'clock or 3:30ish, sometime around in there, taking extra ground balls, working with Dave Anderson, the infield coach, in anticipation of playing third base tonight. He hasn't been there in a while and won't get much of a chance to play third base because Beltre plays there every day. But knowing he was going to be at third tonight, he's out there taking a bucket of ground balls, trying to prepare himself the best he could for tonight's start. Right off the bat, he's got a nice play under his belt.
First time to play third since Game 5 of the World Series, not counting several games in spring training. So Bourgeois at second. And here's Carlos Lee, the former Ranger, 1 for 8 with a run batted in the first 2 games. So far, Lee has been the Astro DH in all 6 games they have played at American League Parks. 81st time in his career that he's been a DH. The one thing the Astros do well is run. 64 stolen bases. That is 3rd in the National League. Michael Bourne accounts for half of those. 4th in batting average. That's pretty good. Lee a part of that. Just a little above the team average of 260, but they're 9th in runs, next to last in home runs, walks, on base percentage, 2nd most double play grounders, last in men left on base, 15th in pitching. Down goes Lee on 3 pitches. And for Colby Lewis in the first, one hit, one man left. Astros nothing, Rangers coming to bat. For the first inning, and now the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Ron Washington and the Texas Rangers tonight. Ian Kinsler turning 29 today. Leading off, Endy Chavez bats second, Hamilton, Beltre, Young, and Cruz. Mitch Moreland at first base, and Yorvit, Torrealba, Andres Blanco hitting eighth and ninth against the preseason, at least, ace of the Houston staff, veteran Brett Myers.
Yeah, he's coming off a really nice start, a complete game victory. He has given up at least one home run in 13 of his 15 starts. In fact, he and Colby are tied for the major league lead. They've each given up 19 home runs. His last start was a complete game, first complete game by a Houston pitcher. And they haven't had one thrown against him, so it's the only complete game in an Astros game all year long.
That game Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Four-hitter, 3 runs, one of which was unearned. 1 walk, struck out 6. One time retired 17 straight Dodgers, faced only 1 over the minimum. 2-0 pitch to Kinsler. Big rip and a miss. Ian celebrating his 29th birthday today. And in the past, he has celebrated with big games. On his birthday, he's a .357 hitter. A homer, a double, 2 runs batted in, and a base hit to start tonight's game.
Myers last year, his first year with the Astros, had his best major league season. He gets a pitch on the outside part of the plate and drives it right back up the middle. He went 14-8. He had 223 innings pitched. Fewer hits than innings pitched, a good number of strikeouts. In fact, he had career highs in innings pitched. He had the best ERA that he'd had. And in his last 18 starts, he was 9-3 with an ERA right around 3. Well, he was a terrific pitcher last year for the Astros. Astros pitcher of the year. A lot of people think he might be the kind of guy at the trade deadline that would stir up some interest among contenders this year. And that was probably be a realistic assessment right now.
Well, he starts 2-0 behind Endy Chavez. Endy's average at .333. He is 3 for his last 23 over his last 8 games. 12 games before that, he was just hitting at a ridiculous .525 rate. And there goes Kinsler, and he steals without even a throw from Corcoran.
That's about the 3rd stolen base we've seen in the last week, where the base runner almost got to the base before the catcher caught the ball. Saw Brian McCann steal a base against the Rangers with a huge jump, and that's almost the same thing right there. Ian is a third of the way before Myers threw the ball to the plate.
He shouldn't even have slid. He's now 15 out of 17 on the base paths.
If Myers had stepped off, he obviously easily could have picked Ian off first base. He started too soon. Once he got going, you might as well keep going because you're out in no man's land. Just hope the pitcher doesn't see it. That's where someone's got to scream, step off in the infield.
15 steal, 13 straight now without being thrown out. And the 2-2 pitch swung on, and Chavez strikes out. First out of the Ranger first.
Good overhand curveball by Myers. Myers doesn't throw right now quite as hard as he used to, but he knows how to pitch. And you see one of his best pitches was that curveball that he struck Endy Chavez out with. Big breaking curveball.
Well, now Josh Hamilton, and Josh back to his National League dominating ways this year in interleague play. 377 all-time average in interleague play, best ever. And against the Astros, he hits .399 with the Rangers at .484, including his days with the Cincinnati Reds, and big swing at a curveball and a miss. Tom, there are a few factors here. I'm going to be disappointed if you don't call a home run tonight.
Okay, good point.
The stars are in alignment.
Okay. Like 3 good curveballs in a row for Myers.
That is his best pitch. Ford league leaders, highest average since 2008 against the Astros, and it's Hamilton by a pretty wide margin. .484 since joining the Rangers. And stays alive at 0-2. So you have at least the Rangers in a pretty good home run groove of late.
Yeah.
Josh's next will be his 100th. And you have Myers and Lewis, who lead the major leagues, each having allowed 19 home runs. So history says they, at some point, are going to go flying out of here.
Well, Josh, the other day in Atlanta, against their, can't even think of his name right now, the rookie pitcher that started the first game against the Rangers, saw a lot of changeups, and eventually he threw one too many changeups, and that's the one that Josh launched. And Myers might fall into the same trap today. He's gotten Josh out in front of some curveballs. But if he keeps throwing that curveball and gets one up above the knees, that might be the one you're talking about, Dave, that gets launched into that home run porch.
Randall Delgado was his name.
Thank you.
He was pretty impressive his first major league start. 1-2 pitch to Josh is another breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Some people who follow the Astros think that at some points this year, Myers has actually been too reliant on that curveball. It is his best pitch. And a fastball here, grounded foul. And he's been throwing more fastballs lately. Another similarity with Colby Lewis. They live in the high 80s, occasionally into the low 90s. Lewis's swing and miss pitch, the slider. Myers the curve. A lot of them think that Myers has pitched much better than his 3-6 record would indicate. 2-2 pitch, grounded to Keppinger. And Hamilton advances Kinsler to third with 2 outs for Adrian Beltre, DHing tonight. Adrian getting a half day off, kind of a compromise with Ron Washington, who would like for him at some point to take a full day off. Adrian just won't hear of it. And so they agreed that at least he take the half day and not play in the field and concentrate on DHing. 0 for 5 last night. But he has hit in 13 of his last 15 games, raising his average 15 points over that stretch up to 262. And that breaking ball just catching the outside corner, 1-1. So the Rangers going for the sweep tonight. They won 4 out of 5. They are now 11-9 in the month of June. Beltre, a big swing and a miss as Kinsler slides in after Corcoran has to go all the way to the backstop to retrieve that one, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's literally stealing a run right there. Single, a stolen base, move to third on a ground ball, and score on this pitch. See what kind of pitch it was. It was evidently a wild pitch. It was way outside. Corcoran couldn't reach for it. It was in the other batter's box. And Ian scores easily, and Rangers sneak a run in there on the wild pitch.
Brad Bill's asking if that was a foul ball. And Tim Timmons, who's behind the plate tonight, says no, it wasn't.
I was thinking the same thing till I saw the replay. It was just a pitch that was so outside. Adrian couldn't reach it.
It gives him the same pitch again. It strikes him out. But one pitch too late for Brett Myers. Rangers get a run on a hit, a steal, and a wild pitch. Baseball and Fox Sports lost a dear friend last week in Laura Ziskin. Laura was a prolific film producer and studio executive. She produced many great films, including Pretty Woman, As Good as It Gets, and the Spider-Man movies. Laura battled breast cancer for 7 years. She was the co-founder of Stand Up to Cancer, an organization that Fox Sports and Major League Baseball proudly support. Laura Ziskin will be missed. She was 61 years old. And Tom and I wearing the Stand Up to Cancer lapel pins tonight.
Yep.
In honor of her efforts.
Well, Major League Baseball is involved in many different types of cancer promotions. We just did the prostate cancer. We've had breast cancer. So it's something that Major League Baseball recognizes very much.
Ball one to Brett Wallace, Astro first baseman, looking for his first hit of the series. He is 0 for his last 17. Wallace still managing to get on base at a pretty high rate. 12th in the National League in on-base percentage. And works the count to 2-1. Lewis in the first inning, 3 of 4 first pitch strikes. And he got ahead of 3 batters. 0-2. And behind Wallace here, 3-1. Wallace and then Chris Johnson and Jason Michaels in the top half of the second. And Colby's 3-1 pitch, high and wide. His first walk, and the leadoff man on as the third baseman Chris Johnson steps up. Johnson this series 1 for 8. Monday, he snapped a season-long 8-game hitting streak. 375 over the streak. And he goes after the first pitch after the walk. And sends it foul. Johnson, the son of the Boston Red Sox first base coach Ron Johnson, and I hope you've had a chance over the last month or so to see the piece that Real Sports with Ryan Gumble did on HBO about Chris's sister, who lost her leg in a horseback riding accident, but survived the accident. And just an amazing story of her survival and the support she's gotten, both from members of the Red Sox family and also from the Yankees. They have thrown the rivalry aside to help defray some of her costs.
Yeah, that was a beautiful story. And she has a tremendous frame of mind after going through all that, too.
It's like it never happened.
Pretty amazing.
She literally jumped back on the horse that threw her. It was an accident with a car, and a passing motorist really saved her life by applying tourniquet pressure. But she's back riding and walking around, and life's pretty much back to normal again.
And I like it when the interviewer said, "Was it difficult the first time you got back on the horse?" And she said, "No, not really."
Yeah, it's
No
just
big
amazing.
deal.
Johnson strikes out on that Colby Lewis slider. Second strikeout. First out of the second inning.
That's usually Colby's recipe. Get ahead with a fastball and put him away with a breaking ball.
Breaks just out of reach. So with one out, here's the left fielder Jason Michaels. Still under 200 for the year. 2 for 9 so far in this series. Monday had his first 2 RBI game of the season. He's only driven in 5 all year. And he has really struggled so far against right-handed pitching. Look at that, 097. That's 3 for 31. This one popped up to Ian Kinsler, who's almost there in his tracks. Wind catches it a little bit, but he squeezes out number 2. The wind tonight blowing in from left field. It's different from the usual jet stream. It's not as strong for one thing, and it usually whistles in from right center. Turned around a little bit tonight, and quite a bit cooler tonight. 89 degrees for the first pitch. Actually, pretty pleasant night here at the ballpark. So with 2 outs, Wallace still at first. Here's the shortstop, Clint Barmas. Barmas, the 32-year-old veteran, former Colorado Rocky out of Vincennes, Indiana. Born there, still lives there. That one in on the fists and foul back, a ball and a strike. Barmas, a 10th round pick in 2000 by the Rockies out of Indiana State. With the big league club from 03 through 10, part of the World Series team. Astros got him this year for Felipe Paulino to be their starting shortstop. And a swing and a miss, 1-2. Barmas kind of a Michael Young type makeup. Earned a great work ethic from his family, carries it over onto the field, stays alive there. And by installing Barmas at short, they're able to move Keppinger to second base, more suitable for his range. And he has yet to really get it going, still batting under 220. Lays off the breaking ball there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tom, hitters that can let that pitch pass by seem to be few and far between.
Well, it's a tough pitch. Kobe's got good deception with it. It breaks sharply. And it's tough to lay off that pitch that's slightly out of the strike zone. Keppinger batting third is pretty good at it. He's a really good contact hitter, doesn't strike out very much. He's one of the guys you would expect to be able to do that. But it's gotten a lot of people this year, those sliders down and away.
This is his third full count, his fourth 3-ball count. And he strikes out Barma swinging on that slider. No runs on a walk, 2 strikeouts for the Astros. Rangers leading 1-0. Of the second, time to welcome Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Dave. Ranger fans looking for the sweep. Yeah, they got the brooms out. Why not? Let's sweep those Astros. Community Corner tonight. We are talking about Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation giving 2,300 children a chance to play baseball in the junior and RBI program. That's reviving baseball in the inner city. If you want to learn more about this, you can do so. Log on to Texas Rangers /foundations, Texas Rangers /foundation, reviving baseball in the inner cities. That's what RBI program is all about. Dave?
All right, Jim, and that is a very worthy program. Baseball trying to enhance its historic, traditional talent base in the inner cities through the RBI program. 0-1 to Michael Young. 3 hits, including a solo home run last night. His 10th game this year of at least 3 hits.
You're talking about that RBI program. It really helps when ex-major leaguers get involved, because what the RBI program faces is a lot of competition from other sports, from basketball, from football. But when the ex-major leaguers get involved, I think that gives it a real boost and tends to get more kids involved.
And a lot of times what they really lack are facilities.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that the program was designed to enhance.
Definitely. Major League Baseball has built a lot of fields for that very purpose.
Myers 1-1 pitch, lifted to center field. Bourne goes back and makes the catch. Don't miss Verizon Wireless Fireworks Friday. This week, the Rangers hosting the Mets. Enter Verizon as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com to purchase $10 tickets in select seating areas. You'll also enjoy $5 cash parking and a post-game fireworks show. Rangers and the Mets. First of 3 Friday night. Matt Harrison against Mike Pelfrey. After an off day tomorrow. A rare off day at home for the Rangers.
Yeah, a welcome off day. The Rangers have been scheduled to play 26 out of the last 27 days. So a nice off day at home would be a very welcome thing.
1-1 to Cruz. He brings in a 5-game hitting streak. 381 with a homer over that span. And he lays off the breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. Cruz with an even better mark in a 7-game interleague hitting streak, hitting .414 against the National League in that span. Tim Timmons says that's in there at the knees. 2-2. Timmons behind the plate tonight. Jeff Kellogg is at first. Eric Cooper at second, and Mark Ripperger umpiring at third. That one, he says, a little bit outside in a full count. First full count against Myers. And the 3-2 pitch, line to right field. Bourgeois is there. Here is Mitch Moreland. Last night's hero. Coors Light, cold, hard blast. First pitch of the 11th inning. Believe it, he told me he had never before had a walk-off home run in his entire life, going all the way back through Little League even. Never until last night.
I'll bet you that'll be the first of many in Mitch's career.
Grounds this one to the second baseman, and Keppinger to Wallace to complete a 1-2-3 second inning for Brett Myers. Headed to the third. 1-0 Rangers. This is brought to you by Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. The good crowd at Rangers Ballpark at Arlington, expected to be somewhere about 35,000 for the third and final game of this series, with a return match scheduled next week at Minute Maid Park down in Houston. Tuesday through Thursday, the 28th through the 30th. If you can't make it down there, catch the games in person. We will have all three here on Fox Sports Southwest. The catcher, Carlos Corporon, leads off the Astro third. Colby Lewis throwing 38 pitches in the first 2 innings, but only 1 base hit, and that was a 1-out single in the first by Jason Bourgeois. He has struck out 3, walked 1. Colby a chance tonight to improve his record to 500 at 7-7 with a win. Shallow left center field, and coming on to make the catch is Josh Hamilton.
Dave, I have a lot of people to acknowledge tonight, so I'm going to start early if you don't mind.
Take off.
We want to thank Misty Skidmore and Tiffany Tilliard for the great batch of chocolate chip cookies along with chocolate cupcakes. Thank you, ladies. We also want to recognize Jerry and Cindy Morris from Guthrie, Oklahoma. They're here for their first game with their 13 children.
In the air to Chavez, has him play just right on in left center, and Bourne is out number 2.
That is what you call a family affair. Also want to thank Terry and Vicky Stallings along with Debbie Vaughn. I don't know if you tried it, Dave, the chocolate cream pie and the coconut cream pie.
It disappeared on me.
It was
here for
really
about
good.
15 seconds.
In fact, Vicky, who was one of the ladies that helped with the pies, she also sang the national anthem tonight. So that was a great night for her and a great night for us. Thank you very much, ladies, for the pies. They definitely didn't last very long. Kurt Dykert, our producer, had a piece. Emily Jones had a big piece of the chocolate pie at dinner tonight. And I think the most impressive things about the pies was the meringue on top of them.
I really don't want to hear anymore.
Hear
all the reasons of.
There might be a piece of coconut cream. Nope, sorry, it's gone.
Yeah, that's enough.
I can speak to the deliciousness of the chocolate cream pie, and I can confirm that it gave my unborn child the hiccups.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how much he enjoyed it.
Well, think of how much that new child is going to love you after giving him a taste of that.
1-2 pitch grounded to Kinsler. And Colby Lewis has his first 1-2-3 inning, needing only 8 pitches.
One to nothing as we head to the bottom of the third. Andres Blanco making his 10th start of the season tonight. All but one of those have come at shortstop. He says it is a bit of a challenge to stay ready, but it's mostly mind over matter.
I know it's going to happen soon, and not always going to be like that. And by the time I'm playing, I feel kind of, I've been there before. It feels like confident. It's not like, oh, finally. I want to play now. I don't like to feel that because now is my time, and I got to be ready 100% and here and basically.
Andres Blanco, just one of many guys who is forced to stay ready because of the depth of this Rangers lineup, guys.
That was a perfect answer right there. So many times guys say, well, how can you expect me to play when I'm only playing once every couple of weeks? It's hard to have my timing. Can't stay in the game. But the reality is, if that's your role, you have to have the same attitude that Andres has. You have to be ready mentally, physically, and you have to do the job. Because if that's your role and you don't do your job, someone else is going to come and do it. So accepting it and getting the job done is what it's all about. And that's why he's in the big leagues right now on a good team. He's got the right attitude.
And keeping that attitude, if he's ever going to get a regular job in the majors, it has to start with that as utility guy, doesn't it?
Sure, because when you get your chances, the better you play, the more often you'll play. You keep making plays and getting hits instead of playing every now and then, manager will find a spot for you more often. The better you play, the more other teams like you, even if it doesn't work out with your team.
Shows a pretty good eye on the Torrealba's part, leading off those last two, very close to strike three.
You know, the long reliever, in the Ranger case, Dave Bush, he's kind of in the same position. Might not get your chance to pitch as often as you'd like, but you have to find a way mentally and physically to stay ready so that when your number is called, you go out there and get the job done.
Myers 3-2 pitch called, strike three. That one finally nipping the outside corner. That is his third strikeout. Well, another guy whose timing is pretty sharp after a long layoff. This was earlier today, the Tom Grieve hitting challenge. Tell us about this afternoon with your bad radio cohorts. You know, you told me things were terrible. You told me your timing was off. You couldn't catch up to the slow pitches.
That is some great photography right there. I love that. Actually, the swing was real. The contact was real. The ball just didn't jump off the bat quite like that, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
That is funny. That is funny.
They fixed it in post-production. Oh, okay.
Kelly Donaldson, that is tremendous. That is, I got to get a copy of that. I'm going to show my grandkids someday. This is what I did when I was 63 years old. Actually, the ball barely got out of the infield. Now, that was a lot of fun. It was pretty much what I expected. A little bit of embarrassment, but a lot of fun.
How did you get roped into that?
Well, the ticket guys, Bob and Dan and Donovan, earlier in the season, they said, we'd love to take batting practice at the ballpark. And I said, well, we ought to be able to do that. They said, well, if we do, then you're going to hit too, right? And so I said, oh, yep, okay. Never really thinking it would happen. Well, today it happened. And I brought in, I had to have a teammate to take on those three guys, so I brought in Jim Sundberg. And it went right down to the wire, but I think we prevailed 42-40.
Wait a minute. The teams were you and Jim Sundberg against Bob and Dan
and Donovan. Yep. And we figured their youth and the fact that they've played a little ball over the years recently evened things off for Jim and my experience. But at our age, I think that helped level things off. And it proved to be true. Those guys, the ticket guys, hit the ball great. And Sonny, we had a one pitch showdown after the regular contest. Who could hit a fair ball to right field?
Blanco grounds it hard to Wallace, to Myers covering for out number 2.
And Sonny won that. He hit the only ball to right field. No one could do it. Very hard to wait on the slow pitches. Want to thank Doug very much for he threw batting practice to the regular guys in the cage, then came out and threw for 20 minutes to us. And I think went back to throw some more in the cage. So, Doug, thanks a lot for doing that. We appreciate it very much. We're going to figure out a way to make it even bigger and better next year. Maybe turn it into some kind of a charity.
I was going to say this. You have now started a tradition that will have to be played out every year.
Yep, I think we can make it work. Today was the first inaugural event. We had a great time. Fortunately, not too many people were watching. But we're going to turn it into something better next year.
Ian Kinsler has the only base hit of the game for the Rangers. A single leading off. He then stole second, advanced to third on a ground out by Hamilton, scored on a wild pitch. Myers has retired 8 straight since that leadoff single. So one time through the Ranger order. The wild pitch is the difference. Snaps off a beauty of a curve there. 1-2.
That's a good curveball too. Big breaking, sharp breaking, and he's thrown a lot of them. And the Rangers haven't caught up with one yet. He's given up 19 home runs though, so sooner or later he's going to hang one.
And trying unsuccessfully to check his swing. 4 strikeouts through 3 for Brett Myers on a day when Tom Grieve once again found the seats.
The Rangers and Astros as we head to the top of the 4th. And Dave and Tom, I just want to remain Ranger fans. And hey, no more all-star balloting here at the stadium, but online, Rangers need your help. Log on to TexasRangers.com. Let's get those Rangers in the all-star game. We want to see Josh Hamilton start and get Michael Young, Adrian Beltre in there. We need them in there. All Rangers, vote now. Get online. What do you say, guys? All Rangers. MLB.com, also TexasRangers.com. Vote Rangers. There we go. Dave?
All right, Jim. 1-0. Rangers lead the Astros through 3. Jeff Keppinger, Carlos Lee, and Brett Wallace here in the 4th. And Keppinger sends one deep over the head of Hamilton at off the wall. He will stop at second base. Keppinger with a leadoff double. The second base hit off of Colby Lewis. Going right after him with his 5th double of the year. The other hit is the first inning single by Bourgeois.
That pretty good swing at a tailing fastball that's probably actually a little bit inside.
Keppinger now with a season high 10-game hitting streak. He is the second Astro to get as far as second base. Bourgeois was there in the first, but Carlos Lee struck out to end that threat. And here's Lee taking strike 1. No runs on 2 hits, 2 left for the Astros. A run on a hit. No one left for the Rangers because they have seen Brett Myers retire 9 in a row after that leadoff single of the first by Kinsler. 0-2 to the veteran Carlos Lee. Turned 35 Monday, the first game of this series. Lee, a Ranger for the second half of the 2006 season, hit .322 in 59 games. But then signed as a free agent, the biggest contract at that time in Astros history. 6 years, $100 million. He is making $18.5 million this year, and he'll make the same next year.
Well, every time a team gives a 30-year-old position player, 31, 32-year-old position player, a 6 or 7 or 8 year contract for that kind of money, this is the risk that you have. Early in the contract, everything looks pretty good. Late in the contract, very seldom does the player live up to that contract. And there's going to be a lot of guys in that boat. You know, the question is, will Cliff Lee be able to throw 5 or 6 years from now like he is right now? Maybe. Time will tell. Is Alex Rodriguez going to be an all-star player 6 or 7 years from now at the end of his contract for $27 million? Maybe.
Lee caught looking at the knees. He's got a word or two for Tim Timmons.
Thrown out.
Well, he must have been putting it in the form of a question.
Yep, I like that. You know, I like a veteran umpire who lets the player vent, looks at him, doesn't challenge him, doesn't provoke him, just takes the argument, provided it lasts 10 or 15 seconds, and then the player walks away. Let him get it off his chest. You know, it's a borderline pitch. We've seen that called a strike, not all the time. Lee didn't like the call, but pitch track showed it was close enough to be a strike. But, you know, I think the other side of it is Timmons knows that's a borderline pitch and that a player might argue. So he accepted the argument. And to Carlos's credit, he left and went back to the dugout. Got his 2 cents worth in and get on with the game now. I like that.
It's really about the only way you can survive that long of a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
With an umpire after a call that you didn't like. That one on the outside corner, a strike to Brett Wallace, who walked leading off the second inning.
You know, if the player goes too far and says a couple magic words, fine, he's going to get thrown out. But there are times, too, when the umpire can provoke it by stepping toward the player and being aggressive. And the player gets provoked, and before you know it, he's kind of been baited and thrown out of the game. But when it happens that way, that's the way it should happen. Umpires are neutral. Their hearts aren't pounding. The adrenaline's not flowing like it is for a player. So you let the player vent a little bit. Get on with it.
A one-hop shot out to Kinsler. And on the second out, Keppinger reaches third. This the first time the Astros have had a man as far as third base. He's there with 2 outs. And the third baseman, Chris Johnson, will try and bring him in. Johnson struck out on 3 pitches back in the second. Lewis at 56 pitches now, 34 for strikes. Threw only 8 pitches in a 1-2-3 third. The Astros tonight 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position against Colby. And gets the slider over the inside corner to Johnson. Johnson digging himself out slowly but surely from a terrible start. He was hitting 181 the first 30 games of the year. Last 36, just under 300, 295. And again, the batting average for the Astros this year is respectable. They're 4th in the National League, hitting 260. It's not a very productive 260. They're 9th in runs. Partly because they are next to last in home runs.
Dave, the last couple of acknowledgments. Gladys Allison from Amarillo recently turned 102. And I had the pleasure of talking to Gladys on the phone today. Surprised her this morning. And I told her we'd mention her name tonight. I know she's watching right now. So Gladys, number one, thanks for being such a great Ranger fan. And congratulations on birthday number 102.
When you told her who you were, did she assume it was a friend of hers playing a joke and hang up on you?
I don't think she was positive that it was me. But the longer I talked, the longer I think she realized it. And she just said, I'm a great Ranger fan. And we appreciate that, Gladys.
2-2 pitch is popped up. Kinsler backs out. And Colby Lewis works around the leadoff double by Jeff Keppinger to keep it 1-0. TNT trivia question. Who is the only other Ranger besides Mitch Moreland with a walk-off hit in the Lone Star Series? So I'll give you a while to chew on that as Andy Chavez leads off the Ranger fourth. Chavez struck out his first time up, one of 4 strikeouts so far for Brett Myers. The one Ranger hit a leadoff single in the first by Kinsler. That one will stay fair as Wallace comes up to make sure it does and apply the tag on Endy. 1 out at the bottom of the fourth, and here's Josh Hamilton.
2 more birthdays to acknowledge. Kenyon Hedrick from Chico, Texas, was born 92 years after Gladys Allison. He's 10 years old today. Happy birthday, Kenyon. And also Lainey, I hope I say it right, HOU has a birthday today. She mentions what you already mentioned, Dave, that her birthday is the same day as Ian Kinsler. So a lot of birthdays today and a lot of treats. And that's it for the acknowledgments. Thank you to everybody. I am done. I'll see you tomorrow, Dave.
No. Fourth inning.
Okay.
And a ball and a strike to Hamilton.
I have talked to people in the offseason that think my main job is talking about the food we get. And it does upset some people. So for those of you who are upset by the food talk, hang in there.
There's a shot for a base hit out to center field. Hamilton played a key role in the game's only run, a ground out on the right side of the infield that allowed Kinsler to make third, and he scored from there on a wild pitch.
Had a well-hit ball to center field, line shot. Fortunately, Bourne was playing Josh pretty deep in center field and turns into a long line drive single to straightaway center field instead of a shoestring catch.
So 1 out, 1 on for Adrian Beltre. He struck out to end the first. Beltre, one of the few Rangers who have a decent amount of history against Brett Myers when they were both in the National League. This sky-high pop-up will reach the seats. Beltre now 2 for 15 lifetime against Myers. One of those 2 hits a home run. Brett Myers now 30, 6'4", 239. Born and still lives in Jacksonville, Florida. And coming into this year, the ace of the Astros staff. Johnson at third, the backhand. They only get the out at second base. Hamilton a good slide, and Beltre is aboard with 2 outs on the fielder's choice.
It's going to be tough to turn that long double play anyway, but with Josh flying into second base, Keppinger knew his best opportunity was to jump out of the way of Josh's slide and forget about the double play.
So with Adrian aboard, 2 outs, Michael Young flied to center his first time up. Michael playing third base for the first time this year. And a check swing strike. Michael saying before the game that it is a little tough not playing the same position every game, to play each position that he has played this year as well as possible. But I think especially his play at first base has really come a long way in the first inning. The infield coach, Dave Anderson, saying as much as well before the game. He's made big strides at first.
That's great to see, and he's worked hard at it. It doesn't happen just because you get a chance to play there every now and then. It happens every day in practice.
Opposite field shot, but it stays up for Bourgeois. And that will do it for the Rangers' fourth inning. No runs on a hit. 1 man left. They still lead it 1-0. Trivia question. Who is the only other Ranger besides Mitch Moreland with a walk-off hit in the Lone Star Series? It was David Murphy. Walk-off single just over 2 years ago and a 5-4 win in 10 innings. The Houston native David Murphy grew up a huge Astro fan. Idolized particularly Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio. It's happened 4 times in this series. Biggio did it first in 02, Morgan Ensberg in 05, and Murphy, Mitch Moreland with his upper deck walk-off home run. The only pitch he needed to see in the 11th inning to give the Rangers that 5-4 win. Jason Michaels popped to second his first trip. He is 2 for 10 against Ranger pitching.
Colby doing a pretty good job today keeping the ball down. He's had 1 walk. He's had 4 strikeouts in the game. Another pitch, same pitch as the one before it. Very well located.
He's seen Tim in strike zone tonight, and it really seems to be taking full advantage of it.
Can't see number 2 because number 3 is right on top of it. And number 4 is not far away.
No, it wasn't.
That's some pretty good location right there. Steve Busby would be proud of those 3 pitches. Oh, hi, Buzz.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Colby looks like he's getting himself in a pretty good run right here. He's not missing by too much.
And it makes you wonder what was going on to those 2 starts where it's like someone else took over his right arm. But he got it back last time out.
You know, if you can get an answer to that, you'd have a whole lot of major league pitchers asking you for it and paying you a lot of money for it. I don't know. It happens.
Buzz, did you know on the days where you didn't pitch well that you had less than your good stuff in the bullpen? Or did you sometimes not find out till you went on the mound?
I paid no attention to what I did in the bullpen. I learned to not give it any thought because, first of all, a pitcher's in the worst position of anybody to judge his stuff. Catcher can tell you.
Boy, Michael Young looks like he's been playing third every day this year.
So you just used it as an opportunity to warm up and get ready for the game.
I wanted to get my body loose. I wanted to get my mind focused. The last 10 pitches or so, I'd pretend that I was facing the first 2 hitters,
right,
so that I'd focus on moving the ball around and locating the pitches. And how they felt to me was really irrelevant. And then I'd take it into the ball game, and after I'd warm up for the first inning, I'd ask whoever was catching me, what do we got? What are we working with today? And he'd tell me halfway decent fastball, or it's got good movement on it, or your slider's breaking sharp, and he'd base the game he called on that.
I've heard pitchers say that some of their worst games were on the days they felt the best.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be true?
I think that's true. And the reverse was also true. Some of your best games are on the days you say, I got nothing today.
What did you have in the bullpen before your no-hitters?
A hot dog. I took a ball out there and traded it for one. Right
that was the magic formula.
You read the Babe Ruth story before that game.
That's right.
Work for the Babe, it'll work for me.
Quite honestly, Dave, I don't remember what my stuff felt like. I can't tell you. Honestly, I learned not to pay attention to how I really felt warming up.
Boy, Colby Lewis again razor sharp, going through the Astros in order on 11 pitches. 2 more strikeouts. He's up to 6. Dave Barnett with Tom Grieve, joined for the rest of this inning by Steve Busby. And so we're going to show you a quote from Ron Washington on C.J. Wilson last night. That's what good pitchers do. They may not have it, but they learn to fight, and he was out there fighting the whole time.
Well, that's an invaluable lesson, Dave. I think every pitcher has to learn what he's going to do, how to pitch without what is considered his best stuff, because very rarely are you going to have your best stuff and your best command in combination. You may have that 2 times out of 10. Sometimes you may have good stuff and poor location. Sometimes you may have good location and poor stuff. And some days you may not have either one of them. And you have to learn how to adjust to those various situations. If you have something to work with, location and stuff, say 4 out of 5 times, consider yourself fortunate. I think, anyway, at least that's what I found in my experience.
So at least probably once a month or so, you're going to have to overcome not having one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Once every 5, 6, maybe 7 starts if you get on a pretty good roll. But you're going to have those games where you got to figure out plan B, C, D, and E and be able to implement them so you don't get killed.
Cruz launches one. Where is this one going to land? Off the windows. Another tape measure shot by Nelly Cruz.
I don't know if it's just me or if we're really seeing in the last 3 weeks an inordinate amount of tape measure home runs. It seems like every one these guys hit, you just can't wait to see where it's going to land.
I think these pitchers got to change their grip on the ball, throw it with the seams or something.
Well, Myers has now given up 20 home runs, and I think it was just a matter of time before he hung one of those breaking balls, got it up above the knees to the wrong guy. And that's pretty much what we saw right there from Nelly. Now, there's been some balls hit above the windows into that second deck out there that have been measured at like 429 feet. And that one didn't get there, and that had to go 450 feet.
Yeah.
Easy.
I agree with you. Good thing the wind was blowing in from left, too. There's no telling where that thing would end up.
He just missed that one.
Orland under it enough that Bouchard will get there and get the first out. Here's where that one landed.
If you're having dinner out there, hello. One of the waitresses is out there.
Wow. Bottom of the windows.
Raise the hands.
You throw your salad all over the place. Shock you to death.
You know, you're talking about bringing stuff from the bullpen to the mound. I remember the story Tom House used to tell when Nolan threw his no-hitter against Toronto. He came into the dugout after Nolan warmed up, and he said to Bobby Valentine, "You better have a good idea who the long man is today, because Nolan doesn't have it."
Torrealba, rich one off the wall in the left field corner. Digging for 2. The throw by Michaels a little bit off. And Jorvik has himself an extra base hit.
Well, we showed Jorvik in the pregame show. Since June 4th, he's hitting over 400. And he's lighting the field up with a lot of line drives. And here's another one. Inside fastball. Very much like the ball that Keppinger hit to lead off the 4th inning. A fastball tailing in down the left field line. I think Jorvik hit his a little bit harder than Keppinger did.
Jorvik Torrealba safe at second, safe and secure New York life. Scoring position with 1 out for Andres Blanco, who grounded to first his first trip, goes after the first pitch here and does the same. It will be Wallace unassisted as Torrealba moves to third. And with 2 outs, it will be Ian Kinsler trying to bring him home. Buzz, the first time through the order, after the leadoff single by Kinsler, Myers retired the next 9 straight. Second time through the order now. He's given up some shots.
Yeah, you're starting to get pitches a little bit in the middle of the plate, and also the Rangers have seen him one time, and you know he had to use all of his repertoire to get through the order that first time. And I think once guys have seen both the breaking ball and the fastball, they've gauged the velocity and his ability to locate it. then they go to work. And, boy, you see these Rangers teams, once they get locked in and have seen a guy one time, look out. Because that second and third time through the order, if he's still around, he's going to take some punishment.
Here's the new Rangers hitting coach, Scott Coolbaugh. He came along just as a lot of these tape measure home runs started to fly out of various ballparks. Says his philosophy is all based on communication, and to be a good communicator as a coach, you first have to be a good listener. You're not going to believe the estimated distance on that home run.
419 feet.
Very close. 415.
415.
No.
Well, if to the wall right there, if it's halfway between 354 and 390, let's say it's 370. And where that would have landed, I got to think it's at least 75 or 80 feet from the base of that wall. But again, as we've said many times, the distance on the home runs is not an exact science. The laws of physics don't apply. It's a guesstimate.
After getting ahead of Kinsler 3-0, Myers comes back with 2 good curveballs. The count is full. Well, there's the home stadium measurement, and then there's now HitTrackerOnline.com, and that's the one that we often see as the longer distance as Kinsler works a walk.
Dave, I think the other way to look at it is pretend that ball was hit to right field. Number one, where it went over the fence would have been shorter, a little bit shorter than where it was in left field. The right field upper deck is almost even with the fence compared to the one in left field. And my guess is that ball that Cruz hit would have gone at least a third of the way up, and maybe right to the top of the exit there, somewhere right around in there. And if it was, then the measurement would have been probably 440 or 450.
That's about where Moreland's landed.
Yeah. I don't know if it was hit quite as good as the one Moreland launched, because Moreland's might have been a little bit more towards center field, but I think it definitely would have measured more if it went to right field than it did to left field.
Was it a better world for pitchers when they didn't measure your mistakes?
Yeah,
you show them on the replay board.
You want a pitcher's reaction to how far those balls went? So what?
It only counts for one run, right?
That's right. Now, unless it's going to count 2 or 3 or 4 runs, I don't care. You know?
Who hit the longest one off of you?
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice?
Yeah.
Where'd that one go?
You know the flagpole in center field at Fenway Park?
Yeah.
Right over the top of that. There used to be a Gilby's Gin sign across the street on that building. Rattled around in that for about a week and a half.
Landed in Harvard Square?
Yeah, somewhere down there.
Kinsler taking second on the pitch in the dirt, blocked by Corcoran.
I was just thankful he got it up in the air, because it went right over my head. You could have buried me right there on the spot.
Would have lifted you up and taken you with it.
Yep.
Do you think that the legend of Jim Rice breaking a bat on a check swing is true? Or is
I know it's true. I know I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. We were there when it happened.
Yep.
He checked his swing and broke the bat. If I didn't see it, you're right. I wouldn't have believed it, Dave.
Well, now I've got an eyewitness account, and I still have a hard time
I
believing
agree.
it.
I almost don't believe what I saw either. The best one, though, is when Bo Jackson took a bat and put it over his head and broke it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys have cracked them over their legs. I don't know how, but they do. But when Bo Jackson put it over his head, pulled down, and broke the bat, that was almost too much.
Chavez reaches out to stay alive. It was a wild pitch officially now. They got Kinsler to second. After his 2-out walk, chance for the Rangers to add to a 2-0 lead here in the 5th inning.
A nice little base hit right here would be timely. Turn a close game into a not-so-close game.
Myers about to throw his 79th pitch. And he strikes out Chavez. But the Rangers come up with the run on 2 hits. The leadoff home run. Officially 415 feet off the walls above the lower deck in left field. 2-0.
It's 2-0. We head to the 6th, and look at this. You hear the chant. It's Dan McDowell's fan club on hand, and it's Dan McDowell, 1310 The Ticket, America's favorite radio station. The other half of Bob and Dan's show. Big hitting display going on this afternoon prior to the game. You and Tom Grieve. Look at Tom Grieve's swing. Assess his ability at the plate.
After looking at, he's awesome. Why did you bring all these people here, Noxie? Yeah. No, Tom Grieve was awesome. It was the Tom Grieve hitting challenge. Clearly, we just wanted to see if Tom Grieve could still hit, because he's a former Major League player, of course. He clearly can still hit. He can out-hit us. But we do feel it was fixed in a way because he chose the pitcher. So the pitcher was kind of throwing us some nasty stuff. He was lobbing them up there for Tom. So
you were impressed?
Very impressed by Tom Grieve. But if we do it again next year, and I know Tom wants to, we might have to have a say in who's the pitcher, and we'll try to buy microphones so people listening on the radio can hear it.
There we go. Okay, Tom Grieve, of course, hitting a few out, a couple 400 shots, I think, to left field.
Oh, yeah.
Everything all looking good for Tom Grieve, and you guys fared pretty well.
Yeah, well, Tom called his shot every time he hit one out. He pointed to the center field like he would call which section he'd hit it. It was absolutely incredible.
Very good.
These people that you got are very annoying now, Knox.
You see what we go through every night.
Jim Knox cannot talk without screaming. That's why.
We bring the Dan McDowell fan club here. Hello to Bob out there. Hello to Corby. Who else we have? Mike. And
yeah, I can't give a shout out to all the people
I know.
Yeah.
Norm. This is this place right here. The wedgie. Okay, Dan. That's all the time we have.
Thanks
we
to
appreciate
Tom.
it.
Thanks,
More
Tom.
Dan out there. There we go. Thanks, Tom.
Now,
Thanks, Dan.
Dan's got an
Appreciate it.
appreciation for how tough Jim's job is with all those people around. Yeah, Dan and Donovan and Bob, they all did a great job today. They hit a lot of good balls. But we'll work the pitching out next year so everybody's happy with it. I think he was just exaggerating.
Well, meanwhile, here in the 6th inning.
I think the strikeout's working right now.
Wow. Lewis strikes out Bourne swinging on 3 pitches. Bourgeois swinging now after throwing the only ball at the inning.
It's 4 out of the last 5. Once Kobe gets into this kind of a groove where they're not hitting his fastball and he's locating his breaking ball, it's fun to watch.
7 pitches, 6 strikes to get 2 more strikeouts. Total of 8 now. And here's Keppinger, who was grounded to third on an excellent defensive play thrown out by Michael Young. And last time up, he led off the 4th with a double and reached third base with 2 outs. But Colby Lewis got Chris Johnson to pop out, and that was to date the best Houston scoring threat in this game. They have only 2 base hits against 8 strikeouts through 5 2/3, and now it's Keppinger up and flailing away.
Well, Kobe had almost 40 pitches through 2 innings, and he's probably right around 40 pitches for the next 4 innings, so he's gotten his pitch count under control pretty well. And there's another breaking ball that mentioned Keppinger would be one of the guys that could lay off that pitch. Keppinger on the season has had pretty good back control. He doesn't walk much, but he doesn't strike out much either.
Grounds this one into the hole. Backhand pick Blanco, and the throw pulls Moreland off the bag, and Keppinger is safe.
Well, Mitch tried to slide off the back, but once he did, he couldn't get back to tag the bag. And I don't know if Mitch was tall enough to stay on the bag and just reach as high as he could. Blanco's got a strong arm. He just throws it a little high. And I don't know if Mitch stayed on the bag instead of coming off the bag. It would have been close. It might have gone off the top of his glove. And he didn't want it to go over his head into the stands and let Keppinger get an extra base.
It goes as an E6. Charged on the throw to Blanco. And that brings up Carlos Lee, who has struck out both times, swinging in the first, looking in the 4th. And he had a few words for Tim Timmons as he was leaving after that 4th inning at bat. But tonight's stuff from Colby Lewis pretty comparable to what the Astros saw out of him last June 19th at Minute Maid Park, his complete game 2 hitter. Struck out 9, did not walk a batter in that game. And a pop-up here on the left side of the infield. Young or Blanco? It is Blanco who takes out number 3. And Colby Lewis soaring through 6 innings, almost unhittable. Inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot worth $2,000 in dinner for two at a Sonic drive-in. Tonight the Rangers are hitting for Eddie Duncan from Frisco. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Eddie Duncan from Frisco will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. The completion of the race won by Nolan Ryan. Just over the runners-up, Bowie, Houston, and Crockett tonight. Here's Josh Hamilton, who has grounded to second. It's singled, and a real notion to pound that one. That curveball in there for a strike. Brett Myers almost matching Colby Lewis pitch for pitch. 2 runs on only 4 hits for the Rangers. And the second run, the 415-foot officially blast by Nelson Cruz, leading off the last inning. First scored in the first inning on a wild pitch. Kinsler coming home from third. Josh last night 2 hits, including the game tying home run in the bottom of the 8th that sent that game into extra innings. And lays off that curveball as well. 3 balls and a strike. Beltre next, and then Young here, the Rangers 6th. And a good tailing fastball there for Myers, and the count is full. Rangers getting some help from the Washington Nationals tonight. They lead Seattle 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ball 4, and a leadoff walk to Hamilton. Just the second walk issued by Brett Myers tonight. Well, this July, baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix at 7 p.m. only on Fox. And here's Adrian Beltre, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fielder's choice. He goes after the first pitch, gets way under that one. Michaels comes in from left. Wynn catches it.
That thing is up there.
Yeah, the wind not at anywhere near top speed. Not really the usual jet stream coming in from left. Now just, as I said, that shifts, and now it's coming straight in from center field. The Home Depot presents doing more on defense, and in his first start this year at third base, Michael Young has handled some tough shots. Looks like he's been playing out there all year instead of some at first, some at second, mostly at DH. Part of the defensive effort behind Colby Lewis, who has shut out the Astros on 2 hits through 6. And here's Michael, who has flied to center and right. Myers continues to work him away. This is the third in a stretch of 15 out of 18 for the Rangers here at the ballpark. The only road games next Tuesday through Thursday in Houston. Hamilton takes off and is thrown out trying to steal by Corcoran. Well, there is out number 2 in the 6th inning.
Josh tries to go into some evasive tactics there at the end, but couldn't quite avoid the tag.
And Barmas having to reach across the body that time to get the throw and then sweep it in right there to get the out. Even if Josh had been safe initially, he was pretty close to oversliding there. Now 2-2 to Young. The schedule of interleague games continuing for the Rangers up through July 3rd, when the Rangers finish a 3-game series here against the Florida Marlins. All the teams the Rangers will face in this stretch currently below 500. And a number of these teams are in last place at the moment. The Astros, the Marlins. And then after the end of interleague play, 3 here against Baltimore, 3 more against Oakland, and then the Rangers reach the All-Star break. Base hit to left field for Michael Young. And he's aboard with 2 outs for Nelson Cruz, who last time up added to his growing collection of tape measure home runs in his 17th of the year off the windows above the lower seats in left field. Nelly now with a 6-game hitting streak, near 400 with a couple of homers, 5 doubles, as he has come out of that 2-for-29 stretch where he was striking out most of the time. Starting to look about as locked in as we've seen him this year. Although that is a state that's come and gone for Nelly a few times already in 2011. Myers behind him 2-0 with his 94th pitch of the night. Cruz in interleague play now, an 8-game hitting streak. Checks his swing on that one, and it's 2 balls to a strike. Nice Coors Light freeze can. The contact on that leadoff shot in the 5th, measured officially at 415 feet. This is a line drive out to left field, a base hit, a frozen rope. And the Rangers now with 2 on and 2 out for last night's hero, Mitch Moreland.
Okay, Dave. You said I had to make the call tonight. I'm making it right here. Going with Mitch.
Yeah, this is a night where there's just got to be a call made. That's all there is to it.
Got to make the call tonight.
2 most home run happy pitchers in baseball.
As Bobby Bragan used to say, you can't hit the ball with a bat on your shoulder. You got to get up there and swing. So let's take a swing right now.
Well, so far, Mitch has grounded to second and flied to right. Pitch that he just got under a little bit. Swing like he had leading off the 11th inning probably would have sent it out. And Myers, after the visit from interim pitching coach Doug Brocail, he has allowed 2 runs on 6 hits tonight. The Rangers, however, with runners in scoring position, are 0 for 5. He has had some nifty curveballs tonight.
Yeah, that was a good one right there. When it breaks sharply and it's down a little bit below the knees or lower, that's the good one. When it comes above the knees, then it gets a little more hittable.
Two runs on 6 hits, an error, 3 left for the Rangers. No runs, only 2 hits, no errors, 4 left for the Astros.
Another good curveball. Yeah, I'm wondering, I hope everything's okay with Kobe. The Rangers have the bullpen going down there. Kobe's been pretty much cruising the last, well, pretty much the whole game. I was going to say the last few innings. It's been the whole game. And Arthur Rhodes is down throwing.
Kobe's only at 85 pitches.
Brett Wallace is a left-hand hitter. He's the first hitter next inning.
Well, the last thing you want to see is Kobe having to come out of the game, which has featured some of his best stuff all year. Some of his best stuff as a Ranger.
Dave Bush is also throwing.
Mitch Moreland says that one hit me. Tim Timmons disagrees.
I'll bet that ball hit him, because there's no way Mitch would do that. There's a few Yankees that might fake being hit by a pitch. I don't think Mitch is one of them. Although he's smiling. I hope he's not. Don't prove me wrong now, Mitch. We're going to look at the replay. Oh, I couldn't tell.
Maybe the left instep.
Let's see.
It looked like it could have. It could have.
I'm giving Mitch the benefit of the doubt.
Well, since he's still in there, might as well homer since you called it anyway. One more angle right here, a little closer. That had to have at least grazed that left foot. Well, a swing and a miss, and that will end this Rangers scoring threat. No runs on a walk and 2 base hits. They leave 2, and we head to the 7th. 2-0 Rangers. Colby Lewis out to continue a 2-hit shutout. Got their bullpen in action during the last half inning. Colby Lewis coming out to take his warm-up tosses, but trainer Kevin Harmon and Ron Washington are there to watch him do it, so obviously something happened in that last inning. But he is retired. Here's his last 10 batters. They are 0 for 10. 1 reaching on an error by Blanco. He's got 5 strikeouts, 2 groundouts, and 2 fly ball outs.
And I think what Ron Washington, I would guess, would be concerned about right here is that Kobe doesn't do something this inning that leads him to really get hurt and have to miss starts. As the Rangers have often said, they're in it for a 6-month season into the postseason. And if players have to miss a start or leave a start early or come out of a game early, even if it's not quite a disabled list thing, they'll do that. They'll sacrifice now so that everybody's healthy and ready to play in September.
Well, let's check in down with Emily Jones.
Guys, the bullpen has definitely had its ups and downs this season, but it seems like here of late they've started to come together as relievers. Just a .98 ERA over their last 6 games, and Mark Lowe says it's just part of settling in.
I mean, it takes a while for the bullpen to get, kind of set in stone. We just keep pushing. We have a bad one, we come back the next day ready to go. And I think all of us out there kind of have that mindset, and we just roll with the punches and come ready to play every day.
And Lowe has been a very big stabilizing force at the back end of that bullpen. Of course, the return of Neftali Feliz to his form that we've all known as the American League Rookie of the Year in the 9th inning. And then Mark Lowe says he does feel very comfortable in that 8th inning setup role, guys.
All right, here's Brett Wallace. Took a strike, and that one outside. He walked his first time up, last time grounded to second. 87 pitches, 56 strikes from Colby Lewis. And 1 and 2 to Wallace. Next will be Chris Johnson and then Jason Michaels here in the Astros 7th inning. And they have action in their bullpen now with right-hander Wilton Lopez getting loose. And in the Ranger bullpen now, no one throwing, but a couple guys up on their feet and watching Colby to see how he does after whatever the question mark was between innings. But he has been sailing tonight. He only hits a single in the first by Jason Bourgeois and a leadoff double in the 4th by Jeff Keppinger. Keppinger got as far as third base. Since then, Colby has set down 9 of the last 10. The only man reaching on an error, that was Keppinger.
When Colby follows through, he doesn't look 100% comfortable, but the velocity on his fastball is still there.
He has been very efficient the last 4 innings, too. Line drive. Blanco spears it out at shortstop.
Oh, that's a beautiful play, especially on the leadoff hitter in a close game. One of the better balls hit by the Astros tonight. Line shot by Wallace. And nice play by Blanco.
Yeah, that error is now forgiven, I think. Terrific play here.
Boy, right in the tip of his glove, too.
Slicing away from him. Every bit of his extension necessary there. And here's Johnston, who was struck out and popped up.
Well, the Astros really haven't had much of a chance against Colby's breaking ball, and for the most part they've been late on his fastball. There's 2 fastballs to Johnson, up, out over the plate, and he was a little bit late on both of them.
And some people may wonder, how can you be late when he's throwing 89 to 91 fastball?
Well, I think some of it is the deception in the delivery. His fastball sneaky, but maybe the biggest thing is the good assortment of off-speed pitches that you have to be ready for, and that you've seen a lot of, just makes you a little bit less ready to hit his fastball.
Well, Colby's lowest hit total this year was 4 in his 8-inning shutout June 1st at Tampa Bay, a 3-0 win.
Jordan Lyles last night for the Astros was a little bit like that, at only 20 years old. An average fastball, but a really nice assortment of off-speed pitches. And you saw a number of times where the Rangers weren't quite ready for his fastball. I think a lot has to do with the total repertoire of your pitches. The little boy loves Ranger captain.
2-2 to Johnson, the 10th Astro batter to have been behind at no balls and 2 strikes. That is a huge part of what Colby's been able to do. Get ahead and get them to swing at his pitch. Those 2 short outings, it was just the opposite. He was falling behind and having to come in.
Another fastball that the hitters laid on, tied him up.
And it's Endy Chavez out right center field. Interleague play continues this weekend, including a 3:10 matchup against the Mets on Saturday. After the game, your Ranger ticket provides access to live Texas country from Robert Earl Keen on the North Lawn. Call 972-RANGERS for tickets or visit TexasRangers.com.
The other thing that tomorrow's off day does is it helps the pitchers to get that extra day's rest between starts. The Rangers have another off day on Monday. That'll help too.
Yeah, there are going to be some pitchers working on 5 and even 6 days rest for a while. And Wash talking about before the game, so that's a good thing, and it will pay off in the second half.
Yep, and then shortly after that, you've got another off day, the beginning of July, and then you got the All-Star break. So that's coming at a good time.
One of the few times that Lewis has been behind. 2 balls and no strikes. Alexio Gondo probably could use an extra day, I would think. There is a base hit out to center field, and Jason Michaels with his 3rd hit of the series, the 3rd hit of the game for the Astros. He's aboard with 2 out for Clint Barmas. 2 singles and a double. They have come in the 1st, 4th, and 7th innings. That is scattering your 3 hits. Barmas tonight, a strikeout and a ground out to 3rd. Yeah, there's a strike at the D's. That's been a key component for Colby tonight. And another 0-2. The 11th time he has gone to 0-2 on an Astro batter tonight. I don't think any Ranger pitcher has had that number yet this year. And another pop-up. Shallow right this time. Nelson Cruz comes on, and he grabs it, and Colby Lewis is through 7 innings, working a 3-hit shutout, leading the Astros 2-0. North Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout days. Here's how Wilton Lopez takes the mound to relieve Brett Myers in the 7th.
You got to love this guy.
He is ready for action.
Evidently, there's a guy in Milwaukee that comes in like that, and they both pitched on the same night. And Jim Deshaies said that the Astros put the clock on both of them to see who could win the race, and Lopez won.
That's some good numbers. Our Verizon call to the bullpen. 26-year-old Wilton Lopez. And his first pitch popped up by Yorvit Torrealba. Shallow center for Michael Bourne. And Torrealba now 1 for 3, a double and a strikeout as well. Just a hard luck outing for Brett Myers, Tom. 6 innings, 2 runs on 6 hits, struck out 6, walked only 2. Just not quite as good as Colby Lewis tonight.
No. But, you know, he's a veteran guy. He really knows how to pitch, and he's got a good curveball. And he pitched a good game tonight. He got one up just a little bit to Nelly Cruz. Run in the first inning was a wild pitch, so he pitched another strong game. He's coming off a 98-pitch complete game.
Tonight he threw 101.
And I just think you have to agree with what a lot of scouts are saying, that along the trade deadline, the Astros are not going to be in the race. They might consider a veteran in a trade to bring in some more young players. And if they do consider that type of a transaction, then Myers could be that guy that goes to a contender.
Especially because this doesn't look like a year like last year where there's an ultimate prize like a Cliff Lee.
Probably not. Probably not. But if your pitching is thin and you need another quality pitcher to go down the pennant stretch, I think Myers could help a lot of teams. Not a number 1 starter, but he could be a solid contributor.
Brett Myers has gone as a Philly 14-9, 13-8, 12-7. Last year with the Astros, he went 14-8.
Yeah, I think last year was his best year. His best ERA, most innings.
Quality arm, a lot of experience. He's only 30. Should have many more decent years left.
Yeah.
Blanco tonight in his 10th start of the year.
John Blake came in and said it was Kobe's neck that was stiffening up on him. That's why they're keeping a close eye on him.
Lopez handles that swinging bunt off the bat of Andres Blanco, out number 2 here in the Rangers 7th. It's obviously still an issue for him, and the Rangers continue to have action in the bullpen. Dave Bush, who was up earlier, along with Darren Oliver. Then after they got in their pitches, they watched Colby work through the 7th inning.
Now remember, Tadayama and Lowe have pitched a lot in the last 4 or 5 days. Neffy pitched 2 innings in last night's game. So the bullpen has been worked pretty good. That's why the off day tomorrow is going to be a nice off day, especially for the guys that don't have to pitch tonight. If Tadayama, Lowe, and Felice don't have to pitch tonight, they'll go into the series against the Mets with 2 days off. And then another off day on Monday. That should really help to replenish their strength.
Big rip and a miss by Kinsler, and it's 1-2. Well, Dave Bush has finished his throws and has wrapped his right arm, and he looks ready to come in. Seattle has lost at Washington tonight, 2-1. Charging Barmas, and the throw dug out nicely by Wallace at first base. A 1-2-3 7th inning turned in by Wilton Lopez. Will Colby Lewis return? Apparently not. great hands. Turned in by Colby Lewis, who is gone after 7 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. He struck out 8, walked only 1, threw 103 pitches, 68 for strikes.
A game like this just makes those 2 games where Colby struggled stand out like a sore thumb, because he was really good for about 6 or 7 starts before that. And the next 2 starts after those 2 games have been solid ones. The win against the Braves, pitched into the 7th inning, only a couple of runs, and then 7 shutout innings today. So hopefully the little neck issue that Colby had won't become an issue. And he's right on track again, throwing the ball extremely well. Great opportunity for Dave Bush, who's been mostly a long man this year, but was a closer occasionally in college. Says he's comfortable pitching in any role. And now he's got a shot at setup relief.
And Ron Washington indicated before the game that in all likelihood, Neftali Feliz might be available in the 9th inning as Carlos Corporon singles on the first pitch. Or I beg your pardon, it was Angel Sanchez pinch hitting for Corporon. He singles on the first pitch of the 8th inning. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to go to Ellie. She comes all the way in from Australia with her family at 9 for a wedding, but decided to take in her very first baseball game. What do you think so far, Ellie?
Bonza, I'm having a beauty of a time. It's so Bonza, Bonza, Bonza. Yeah, it's Bonza, man.
What is Bonza?
Bonza, it's awesome. It's really good. It's great. Fantastic. I'm loving it.
Well, very Bonza there to you. Here's the bag. Here's the hat. Congratulations, progressive fan of the game.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
There we go. Good day, mate. How about that? Yeah.
Good day, mates.
Where does he find them?
I don't think he does. I really think people find him. He's a folk hero.
There's a strike to Michael
I think
Bourne.
walking through the stands in street clothes, more of our fans would know Jim than some of our players. He's a hero.
That might make a good social experiment. Have him walk through the stands with maybe not Josh Hamilton, maybe Andres Blanco.
Yeah, a player that's on the DL. Just walk together and see if they come up to the player or Jim.
And if they're screaming at the top of their lungs, they're clearly Jim Knox fans. They know the drill. Torrealba gets the throw down, not quite in time to get Sanchez after blocking that pitch in the dirt. And now the Astros with a man in scoring position, nobody out here in the 8th.
The Astros had a leadoff double in the 4th. That was Keppinger, and Colby stranded him at third base. And Dave Bush will be trying to do the same thing here. Man on second, nobody out, 2-run ball game.
Perfect strike here by Yorvit. Just a here after Sanchez had gotten to the bag on the headlong dive. Only a 2-0 game. So Bush trying to bear down here to Michael Bourne, who was 0 for 3, struck out his last time on 3 pitches. 2-2 pitch here. And he stays alive. Next will be Bourgeois and then Keppinger, and they had the only 2 hits allowed by Lewis in his 7 innings. Darren Oliver getting loose. And if it's a save situation in the 9th, we'll see whether we see Neftali Feliz. Base hit through the hole by Bourne, and they will hold Sanchez at third base as Josh Hamilton comes up to field that one in very shallow left field. So the first 2 batters with base hits off of Dave Bush here in the 8th, and they have the tying runs aboard now for Bourgeois.
What you have to be worried about here is Bourne at first base as the tying run. One of the best base stealers in baseball. Bourgeois can run as well. He just reaches out and strokes that ball into left field.
Michael Bourne 3 hits last night, couple of doubles, 2 runs batted in, big hit here. And the first major threat by the Astros tonight. They are 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, but still looking for their first run. Astros managed only 3 hits in 7 innings, 103 pitches against Colby Lewis. First 2 batters faced by Bush, 2 hits on his first 7 pitches. Rangers a double play depth, and Bush just missing low on that pitch to Jason Bourgeois. Like Michael Bourne, Houston native, out of Forest Brook High School, 2nd round pick by the Rangers in 2000. Never got above Double-A Frisco in the Rangers system. A bluff at first base, and the pitch in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'd like to see Bourgeois hit a 1-hopper to shortstop before Bourne tries to steal second base.
Now, this is his first chance to run tonight. He leads the major leagues, 32 stolen bases. Caught only 3 times. He has exactly half the Astro total of stolen bases. They're 3rd in the National League at 64. And Bush trying to find him, drifted a little too far off the bag at first.
He's just trying to do everything he can to keep Bourne from being able to get a good jump. He's done that so many times. You want it in the back of Bourne's mind that maybe he's going to do it again, and that might be just what it takes to get Torrealba a shot to throw him out.
There's a ground ball that is a foul ball. Michael Young coming up, fielding it right on the line.
It's like one of those plays that the home plate umpire has to call because the ball is blocked by the 3rd baseman as far as the 3rd base umpire's view goes. He'll get a good shot at it right here. As Michael comes to field this ball, he will be right and directly in line with the 3rd base umpire. You can see how closely Mark Ripperger is watching that. But the home plate umpire Tim Timmons has a great look at it too.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Bourgeois. Sanchez at 3rd. Bourne at 1st. Nobody out. And there's your ground ball to short. Blanco steps on the bag. They get 2 at the price of 1 run. Sanchez scores on the double play.
You see, and the key to that was Bush doing everything he could to keep Bourne from stealing second base. Bourne's one of the best base stealers in baseball. He didn't run. The Rangers got the ground ball, and even though a run scores, they pick up 2 big outs at the end of the ball game right here. Nice play by Blanco. It's a 1-run game, but now there's 2 outs and nobody on. So that's a good job by Bush, making sure Bourne couldn't get a jump.
Astros now down to the last 4 outs. And a good curveball strike to Keppinger. He is grounded to 3rd, retired on a nice defensive play by Young in the 1st. Leadoff double in the 4th, stranded at 3rd, reached on an error by Blanco in the 6th with 2 outs, and Lee followed with a pop-up. So 2-1, and due up in the Ranger 8th, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters Chavez, Hamilton, and Beltre. And you look back at some Ranger scoring chances that didn't produce. They left 2 on in both the 5th and the 6th innings. Got a run in the 5th, but it was on Cruz's leadoff homer. Rangers tonight 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, thus getting only the 2 runs while Brett Myers was in there. Bush's 2-1 pitch popped up off the fist. Torrealba back at the wall and makes the catch. Astros get their first run on 2 base hits. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 2-1 Rangers. Proud sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. For the Astros, their third pitcher tonight is in. He is 26-year-old right-hander Mark Melanson. And he will face Chavez, Hamilton, and Beltre. With the Rangers looking to add to a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, Melanson's done a nice job out of the Astros bullpen. He actually has 6 saves. Brandon Lyon is on the disabled list. He has been the closer at times for the Astros. Looks like Melanson is right now with 6 saves. Got a nice ERA.
And a new battery for Houston. J.R. Tolles taking over at catcher for Carlos Corcoran, who was lifted for the pinch hitter Angel Sanchez. And he got that leadoff single against Dave Bush and came home to score the only Astro run through the first 8 innings. Melanson, originally 9th round pick in 06 by the Yankees out of the University of Arizona. And he came to Houston as part of the Lance Berkman trade on deadline day last year. So here's Endy Chavez, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a grounder to first tonight. He is 3 for his last 26 now, cooling down quickly from a high of 429 for a long stretch after he came up on May 14th. Well into 3 weeks' time, he was the top hitter in baseball in that stretch of time. And he's some experience against this Astro staff from his days with the Mets in the National League. And Neftali Feliz getting up and apparently will be available tonight after throwing 34 pitches last night. Chavez looks at a 3-0 count. Wilton Lopez worked a perfect 7th, 2 grounders and a fly ball. That followed 6 innings by Brett Myers, the starter, who allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, struck out 6 and walked 2. A quality start, but at best he will get a no decision. And just what Jim DeShays of Astros television told us, Brett Myers has pitched a lot better than his record. It may be 3-7 after tonight. There's a leadoff walk to Chavez. So he is aboard for Hamilton. Josh walked his last time up and then was caught stealing. He is also singled and grounded to second. Big cut and the miss out in front of off-speed stuff from Melanson. Melanson worked Monday night. Before that, he went 4 days without getting into a game. And the Rangers with some speed aboard over there at first base at Chavez. Outfield against Josh, as you would expect, deep. Pretty much straight away. Outside, a ball and a strike. Rangers going for a 3-game sweep after taking 2 of 3 in Atlanta. Mariners have lost. Rangers can go up by 3 games if they hang on to this margin here. It was 2-1 Washington over Seattle. Two balls and a strike to Hamilton. Lannon the winner for the Nationals, 5-5. Eric Bedard the loser. And both those teams now 37 and 37.
Well, Washington's come a long way. They've won 10 out of 11.
Well, that's the best stretch that franchise has probably ever had. Just on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Josh against Houston pitching with the Rangers, a .484 hitter, including his days with the Reds, a .399 hitter. Lays off that breaking ball, and the count is full. You hear the noise of 39,708 tonight at the ballpark. Good crowds all 3 of these games. 41,000 on Monday, 33,500 last night for game 2. There goes Chavez, and it is ball 4, and the Rangers have 2 on back-to-back walks in the 8th inning, and Beltre coming to the plate. Well, 16 down now to 8. The 8 greatest moments in MLB All-Star Game history are going head-to-head to determine which is the most memorable of all time. Go to MLB.com/moments and vote now for your favorite midsummer classics, and tune into the 2011 MLB All-Star Game on Tuesday, July 12th at 7 p.m. on Fox to find out who won. Brett Myers walked only 2 in his 6 innings. Melanson walks the first 2 Rangers he faces here in the 8th. And here is Beltre, 0 for 3, a strikeout, a fielder's choice grounder, to fly to left. Rangers 0 for 6 tonight with runners in scoring position. And Melanson gets ahead of Adrian with strike 1. A half day off for Adrian tonight as the DH. The full day off tomorrow. Not as much rest as Adrian will agree to take this year. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Melanson's being careful. He's facing the tough part of the Ranger lineup. And so he's been out of the strike zone. Walks haven't been an issue for him this year. He's been commanding the strike zone pretty well.
Beltre sends that one to left field, not hit quite well enough. Michaels makes the catch. It is deep enough for Chavez to take third, however. And he's there with only one out. And here is Michael Young.
It looked like a ball that he would have driven, but he must not have hit it on the good part of the bat. Because with his power, it would have gone a lot farther than where it did. Let's see what happened. Might have hit it toward the end of the bat a little bit. Pretty good pitch to hit, though. He must have just been a little bit out in front of it. Ball just didn't jump off his bat the way it normally does. Astros playing in double play depth right now. Michael trying to hit a fly ball to the outfield to get that insurance run in.
He flied out each of his first 2 trips. Last time up, he singled. Any of those would be acceptable here. And how about the base hit to right? Chavez jogs home. Hamilton to third, Young to second, an RBI double makes it 3-1.
Oh boy, in a 2-1 game, I don't care who your closer is, anything can happen in a 2-1 game. A big hit for Michael. Rangers with a chance for a nice big inning right here, but even if it's not a big inning, 3-1 looks a lot better than 2-1. Pretty good pitch down. Michael does what he does so many times, swings it out to right field.
He got to first base, realized Bourgeois not yet arrived at the ball right near the line, and so he went ahead and took 2. Michael's 47th run batted in. Now here is Nelly Cruz, 2 for 3. His only out, a hard hit liner to right. And the infield in now, with men on second and third, and only one man out. Astros gambling here that they can keep it 3-1. Cruz leading off the 5th, his 17th home run of the year, off the windows above the lower level in left field. And chases the breaking ball there, 1-1. This shot officially listed as a 415-foot blast.
And Myers really didn't hang many breaking balls today. In fact, he had a good breaking ball. That looked like a slider that he did hang, and as soon as Cruz swung at it, looked like Brett knew that ball was going out of the ballpark. But he had to do a lot of good curveballs tonight, boy.
Pretty good results for Cruz in these situations. 2 balls and a strike. After Cruz, it is Mitch Moreland. And when the Rangers have this lineup and they got everybody healthy, the opposing teams really talk about how it wears you down if you're a pitcher having to face hitters like this one after another. Here's a little chopper, and Young out at second. Sees the throw by Keppinger to first. Hamilton stays at third base. Josh deciding not to go even after he saw that go over the glove of Melanson, the pitcher.
A lot of times with one out, what you'll see on that play, any ground ball to the infield, both runners run. Because if the man is out at the plate, you'll still end up with men at first and third. And so for trying to get a run, the risk is it's first and third and 2 outs instead of second and third and 2 outs. But in that particular play, the runners weren't running, and now it's second and third and 2 outs. I think if they were, might have been able to score on that chopper.
Yeah, they're going to intentionally walk Moreland here and load the bases for Torrealba. But I mean, we've seen Josh score from second on ground balls on infield hits. I think he could score from third on a ball hit that slowly in front of second. But Young able to stay put, not get tagged out by Keppinger, who threw out Cruz. And here comes ball 4 to Moreland. And it is up now to one of the hotter Ranger bats going, Yorvi Torrealba, 1 for 3 tonight with a double. He is hit now in 11 of his last 13 games at well over a 400 clip. Well, the Rangers have an insurance run already here in the 8th. A chance to break it wide open here with a base hit by Yorvik. Checks his swing on the curve, did not go around. In the Astro 9th, the 4th, 5th, and 6th hitters due up. Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, and Chris Johnson. They are a collective 0 for 8 tonight. Only Wallace has reached. That was on a walk. And Feliz will be ready. After throwing 34 pitches last night.
They hit that ball hard, too. A smash right to second base.
Rangers settle for 1 run, 3 walks, 1 base hit. The RBI double by Michael Young. It's 3-1 headed to the ninth. Check in with John Radigan.
Dave, I can guarantee you this will be a Rangers Live program unlike any you have ever seen, unless you watch the pregame show. First ever Rangers Live postgame show, all in HD. We've made the conversion both in studio and in all of our trucks for production. It's all HD all the time here, and we've got lots of it coming your way. Postgame reaction, interview with Ron Washington. Steve Busby will join me. Rangers Live in HD right after the game, guys.
You know, they were pretty good in low def. How good can they possibly be in high def? Stick around and find out. Neftali Feliz on for the 9th inning. He'll face Lee, Wallace, and Johnson, and he is in search of his 15th save. ERA down to 1.98. Has the strikeout to walk ratio on the right side of that. And allowing just a 189 batting average. And a first pitch fair down the left field line. A rocket off the bat of Carlos Lee. And he has himself a leadoff double.
Well, there's why the insurance run plays a big part. Ron Washington is going to argue. From up here it looked foul, but we're a long way from the action. Mark Ripperger called it fair. Wash has a pretty good look at that ball from the Ranger dugout. Ripperger was right on top of it, didn't hesitate to call it fair. Let's take a look. Yeah, it
over the bag.
Yeah, it looked like it caught the corner of the bag.
Yep. That's all it has to do.
I could see from the dugout why you would think that ball was foul. And it was very, very close.
So, yeah, that insurance run looms huge now with man in scoring position on the first pitch of the night.
Yeah, you can basically pretend that Carlos Lee doesn't even exist It's the next guy that you have to worry about, the next base runner. That's the tying. The tying run is somewhere in the batter's box, the on-deck circle, or the dugout. Carlos Lee's run doesn't mean anything except to the earned run average of Feliz.
Here is Brett Wallace. He walked his first time up. The only walk issued by Colby Lewis. Since then, he's grounded to second and lined to short. Blanco made a great catch, leaning to his right. Wallace still hitless in the series, 0 for 11, and in an 0 for 19 slump as he steps up here. He is 7th in the majors with a .355 average at home and a .354 average in the 7th inning or later. So he is struggling now, but the Astros don't mind at all that he is up in this situation, as he has thrived on the late innings. Sends that one into the seats, and it's 1-2. Angels at Florida playing in the 10th inning now. That one was 5-5 headed into extras, and the Angels got a run in the 10th. So the Marlins batting, trailing 6-5. A's at the Mets. That is a 2-2 tie. New York batting bottom of the 9th. Seattle lost at Washington tonight 2-1. Rangers win. They lead by 3. Wallace sends that one way up into the club section behind third base, keeps it 1-2. Neftali Feliz, his last 3 outings, 4 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts, retiring 12 of 13 batters. He worked the 9th and the 10th Monday, allowing only 1 base hit. That was to Keppinger. It's a pop-up here. Blanco chases it down. There's the first out of the night.
Love to get that first out. Big first out for Neffy right there. You've got a good hitter up there, a good young hitter. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, up and in a little bit, tied him up. Nice little pop-up. Take a deep breath, get that first out. Don't pay any attention to Carlos Lee at second base. Just concentrate on the hitter.
Not been much of a night for Chris Johnson. A strikeout, pop up, and a fly out. He is 1 for 11 in the series. And that is a fair ball. Over Young, down into the corner. Here comes Lee. He will make it 3-2. 2 doubles among the first 3 batters to face Feliz here in the ninth.
It's pretty obvious what the hitters are doing, because Wallace did the same thing. They're going up there and looking for a fastball, and they're starting their swing early, and they're making sure they're not late. Both Lee and Johnson have pulled it right down the line, and Wallace, the first swing was out in front of it. He just fouled it off, dribbled a ground ball. But you can see him guessing fastball all the way and turning on that inside fastball.
That one just barely fair. It was almost a repeat of what Carlos Lee did on the first pitch of the inning. So the Astros now with only 1 out have the tying run in scoring position. Here's Jason Michaels, who singled his last time up. He's also popped up and struck out looking. First 7 pitches, 6 strikes from Feliz, but he's given up a couple of rockets. Clint Barmas is due on deck, but the pinch hitter Matt Downs has come out. Only 1 out here. Astros trying to force extra innings for the second time in this series. There's a good breaking ball first pitch strike.
Not a bad idea. They're looking fastball all the way. Give him something else to think about.
Clearly Michael's not expecting it, so 1-1.
Neffy's not quite as sharp with his command today as the last couple of times where he was keeping the ball down, keeping it away outside corner. Been up just a little bit today.
And it's something definitely unusual that he is trying to do here. 2 innings one night, come right back out the next. Gets that one past him at 96, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. But over the road trip that the Rangers just completed, he wasn't called on all that often, so he had a lot of rest built into this Houston series. 2-2 pitch, ground ball to short. Blanco able to stop it and keep the runner Johnson at third base. That is a huge play out there by Andres Blanco to not let that one get to center field.
Well, it's definitely a tie game if it does.
Instead, first and third, 1 out for the pinch hitter Downs.
That's a fastball down. Michael just trying to make some contact with it. Finds a hole. Downs pinch hitting is a very good pinch hitter. He's 6 for 17 pinch hitting. Has a home run to go in with those 6 hits. Tough situation right here.
Blanco doesn't get his glove on that one. It is a 3-3 game. And instead now, double play can end it. Barmes was 0 for 3. And there's strike 1 to Downs. Very respectable numbers on the year for Downs. Against right-handed pitching, a .311 hitter. Just misses with a breaking ball. 1-1.
Could have been.
Downs with a big gap to shoot out in left center field. Outfield playing him to go the opposite way pretty severely. And 2 balls and a strike. See, Chavez swung way over toward right center. And Feliz taking a moment here. If the Rangers hang on, they will have a 3-game lead in the division for the first time since April 12th. It was as high as 4 games on April 11th. That was the start of the series at Detroit. Since then, they've been at first place almost every day. 2-1 pitch gets by Torrealba. And the Astros tie it 3-3 as Johnson comes home. He scrambled after it as fast as he could. But Johnson taking off immediately. And now the Rangers hoping again tonight for extra innings. Perhaps. That may well be a pass ball.
Yeah, that should be a pass ball. Just bounced off the side of his glove.
So Feliz now will hope for a victory instead of a save. And in the Ranger ninth, Blanco, Kinsler, and Chavez, the 9-1 and 2 hitters, due up. They can't get it done there. They hope it's still 3-3 at extras. Well hit to left field. Way back out of here. Matt Downs has his second career pinch home run. And the Astros have put up 4 in the ninth on Neftali Feliz.
No doubt about that one. He just turned on that fastball and launched it.
Hefty knew it. It is 5-3 Houston. And here is J.R. Tolles batting for the first time. .381 feet on the homer by Downs. Now, Tom, there is an off day tomorrow. How much more do you leave Feliz out there, though?
Well, that's the question. Darren Oliver's throwing right now, and generally when you don't have a lead to protect, then as a manager you start thinking about that very question. How much longer should I leave him in there after throwing 30 pitches yesterday? And I'm sure that's going through Ron's mind right now. How much longer does he want to leave him in there? Bourne is the next hitter. He's a left-hand hitter. Or it may be just this hitter. We'll see. Tough decisions managers make. But it's been a bad inning for Neffy, but the balls have been hit hard. Both doubles were hit hard down the line. Michael's ground ball up the middle was fairly hard hit. Of course, the home run was too.
Well, his earned run average has jumped from 198 to 228, up 0.3 of a run in a span of 5 batters here in the ninth. Lee started it with a double, barely fair down the left field line. Wallace popped out. Johnson doubled just as Lee had and scored him. Then Michaels reaching on the infield hit. Downs followed with a 2-run pinch home run, and Tolles pops this one up, which is going to come down to Michael Young, and there's the second out. And that will do it. 22 pitches tonight for Feliz, on the heels of 34 pitches in 2 innings of shutout 1-hit ball last night. He told Ron Washington before the game he thought he could go. And you have to admire the volunteerism, but just didn't have it tonight. Worst inning of his season. And here comes Darren Oliver to work to Michael Bourne, try and get the last out of the 9th inning. The last out of this disastrous 9th inning, the Rangers see Feliz give up 4 runs on 4 hits, 2 doubles, and a 2-run home run by Matt Downs. Astros had gone homerless over almost a 9-game span until that pinch hit 2-run blast by Downs, and now it's Oliver to face Michael Bourne. 31st outing of the year, one of the hardest working lefty relievers in baseball. Bourne singled his last time up. That was off of Dave Bush. He was 0 for 3 against Colby Lewis, who gets a very hard luck no decision tonight. He worked 7 shutout innings on 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he had to come out with a stiff neck. Bush came on in the 8th, gave up a run on 2 hits, and Feliz just did not have it in his 22 pitch performance in the 9th inning. A little bit high, 2 balls and a strike. If the Rangers don't come back and win this game, it will be only the second loss all year in a game they led after 8 innings. At home, they are 20-1 in those games. So it'll be their second loss at home in this situation, and just their 3rd overall. They are 36-2 leading into the 9th inning. Call strike to Bourne, and Oliver comes in to do the job. And now to the Rangers' 9th. Blanco, Kinsler, and Chavez scheduled up. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Citibank. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Mark Melancon out for the 9th inning. He allowed a run on an RBI double by Michael Young after a walk to Chavez, and Hamilton started his 8th inning. He is in position to get the win and improve to 5-1 if he can get through this 9th inning. And it will be Elvis Andrus pinch hitting for Andres Blanco, who was 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. Well, he goes right after the first pitch.
You don't pinch hit as much in the American League, but Elvis has pinch hit 3 times this year and come up with a couple of base hits. The only Ranger with more than 1 pinch hits this year.
Elvis has hit safely 7 of his last 8 games. Down here, 0-2. Melancon threw 25 pitches in the 8th. Looked like the Rangers had an insurance run with police coming on. You had to like the chances of winning 3-1. But the Astros battered Neftali out of the game, and Andrus chases for strike 3. So the Rangers down to their final 2 outs now, trailing by 2. Elvis reaching for that one, letter high. And here is Ian Kinsler, who was really enjoying his 29th birthday until that last half inning. Scored the first Ranger run after a single. A stolen base, came home on a wild pitch thrown by Brett Myers. He has struck out, walked, and grounded out since then. hard hit right at Johnson, playing in on the edge of the grass. There's out number 2. Matt Downs stays in the game at shortstop after pinch hitting for Barmas. And the last hope for the Rangers is Andy Chavez. Chavez has struck out twice, grounded to first. He reached on a leadoff walk by Melanson in the 8th inning. And 3 batters later was doubled home by Michael Young. That made it 3-1 Rangers.
Well, get a base hit, get on base. Anything can happen. You got big guys coming up.
Melanson dealing strikes here in the 9th. Hamilton on deck. If Chavez keeps it going. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last night the Rangers winning in their final at bat for just the 6th time this year. They've lost 13 games in the opponent's final at bat, and on the hook here for what would be their 14th. They were 36-2 leading after 8 before tonight. And now they are down to their final strike. Chavez holds off of that one in the dirt. The Astros in games this year when they trailed after 8 were 2-43. They might have gotten the planets aligned. 2-2 pitch to left field. Michaels gives chase, and he is there. And the Astros, with a 4-run top of the 9th, salvage the last game of this 3-game series by a final of 5-3. Melanson gets his 5th win against 1 loss this year. And Neftali Feliz takes the loss when he was hoping for his 15th save. Rangers Live coming up next.